right, folks, we're back here on a Tuesday. New week, new show. What's happening, everybody? Come on in. Let's get to some points of business really quick. Get the software, Harmonic Pattern Collection for TradingView. That's where it all begins. That's what we'll use today. 2 weeks for free. Just simply send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And it all begins there. Everything else available at harmonictrader.com for free. Top of the hour, we're going to have Mitch Ray, the famous Mitch Ray TA at 1 o'clock. So happy to have him in today. And, welcome everybody. I just want to say a little bit, a little something on my throat going on today, so a little scratchy, but we will bear through. Hit like, subscribe, come on in, settle in, get your coffee, midday coffee, whatever you're drinking, and if it is a beer, enjoy. A beer on a Tuesday is probably not a bad thing. Anyway, folks, get over to the Discord, and I got to say this. It's insane. Like, we have a cool group, and I really appreciate everybody being so cool. That makes this very easy for me to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. There's just no way I could deal with the hassle of shaking people down or whatever. But we do have a scammer. So, guys, everything that I offer is available for free at harmonictrader.com. Your foundation material right there, just as a basic member. The software is for free, and again, that's how we roll. Take the test, get a little test taste, and if harmonic patterns are for you, great. If not, I hope you find those tools that kind of explain the framework of the market, because that's what we do here. Final note is, before I jump into some charts, is that I just got to say, like, a shout out to ICT people. I really don't know who this guy is. I just think because harmonic patterns have become popular, the dude doesn't understand it. The guy's got like 1 million followers. He has been on the attack lately. So I posted something, and this guy's he's just a real jerk. And so, I don't need to waste my time with defamation lawsuits, although I'll tell you, I'm really considering it. You know what? If you do ICT and it works, great. If you do harmonic patterns, Elliott wave, whatever you do works, great. I wish everyone the best. What we do here, harmonic patterns, the harmonic pattern framework, because the M's, the W's, the sharks, the 5 O's really explain a framework to define opportunity in any environment. So, it's been, I just don't, hey, the more the guy, at least the guy's talking about me because he's, has 1 million followers. He calls me Harmonic Hank. And, it's just, it's really, he's a real tough guy, I laugh at it, although, other circumstances and maybe in another time I would just say, excuse me, sir, let's step outside and settle this man to man, but he ain't no man. So it doesn't matter if he's how many followers this guy has. He loses sight. If he's having success, all the best to him and everyone. And that's how I roll. That's a part of the harmonic thinking, No time to hate, really. No time to waste. So let's get into it with the harmonic pattern framework right now. What's happening in the markets? Absolute massive V-shaped recovery. We'll talk about that because the similarities that we have been mentioning from last year to this year are uncanny. And let's just quick review the bigger signals that are going down right now. And the two for me, okay, you go back to last year and almost exact week to the exact week that we were dealing with last year. It was a more of a capitulation move, but listen, harmonic strength index, you guys know, most of the long-termers know, okay, that we were calling for that retracement. We nailed the reversal bottom, And then, another kind of short-term top that we've been looking for, the retracement. Not even 10 days ago, we got that confirmation of HSI on the weekly. I am still super duper triple X long term bullish. It's just at the right price with the right signals looking left. And, look, what do we have here? HSI green arrow, and we've got a purple diamond. Those are our primary confirmation. I would love to get a dot, but on this longer term, I don't think it's going to get that check back. And the diamond indicator that we've added in the last several months, towards the end of last year, that won't be official until Friday, but boy, that's a big deal. The way we should be thinking about what's to come is surely there's only one retracement to consider at this point. I'll get into the lower time frames, but here we are. We got all of that. It's back into a serial that is bar over bar move, and I would be looking at the 886 just like last year there, and then at this point you're gonna have to do it this. We're here clearly. What's the first level, guys, we always look at off of any kind of low or retracements at 382? The 382.50 retracement level, absolutely annihilated. And so at this point, right now, market's up 385 after being up a nice amount yesterday, too. About the same amount. We're going to go target 886s. That beautiful 886, beautiful big retracement number. And that's like, I'm going to say it's 26,380, 26,375. That's another 450 from current levels. And I think that's something you need to really look at by the end of the week. I mean, we could be here by Thursday and be looking at that as being reached. And we will redress kind of the larger considerations that I've been talking about for a while. But this is it's a fast recovery, and it's happening now. And I will draw you to Microsoft, which is I bought some more this morning. I'm up to about 200 shares. I'm going to get probably another 100, maybe double that, and be looking to ride this anywhere under 400 back to the top end of the channel of like a 560. I'm looking for Microsoft just to continue the long-term uptrend that we have been seeing in the stock since, you're going a decade-long channel here. So I just think that's a hell of an opportunity right here. You did the 886 reset of last year's low. We're putting in arrow, diamond, dot. That's our preferred confirmation strategy. That gives us all three. And on this weekly bar, it looks like we're gonna put it in. We'll check it by Friday, but 394, boy, these are low numbers. These are low numbers. If we're gonna recover and get ourselves back up into this channel, we could see 450 or even 500 pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. You got to think of where we are in context to this second quarter and a potential summer rally. Is this the start of the summer rally? And I'm kind of leaning there. I'm thinking it's a big opportunity. We've seen also a number of the patterns that we laid out in the last few weeks are really starting to take off. And I think there's plenty of time. But I think, now you got to put it in overdrive and start jumping. I have been waiting. I have not done a lot of buying until the last week. And yesterday was buying. Today I'm buying more, and I'm looking for more longs. I'm looking for more longs that are also, big swing trades. I've even been considering call options for the first time in probably 6 months. I'm thinking like Microsoft 500 calls, like the June 500 calls, are not a bad idea. Maybe, short term, like the 400 calls, you're going to be paying some premium, but a closed strike price and we start running above 400, that's not a bad idea. If we're looking at HSI, what do we see? Because what's the first thing we always want to see with HSI, Harmonic Strength Index? We want it above the 50 level. And that's broke out last week, continuing now. The real acceleration, we do a big break above the 50 on amplified RSI. That's how you get to, say, well above 400, 450 level. I think 500 is the number. I think Microsoft's starting this inflection to get you back to 500. The final piece, and I say this about Microsoft, is kind of like an example of the big tech Mag 7 with harmonic patterns, that we have this looping retest. And even in the short term, guys, if this is a type 2 and it is a 2, how do we know? The software kicked it out. All right, there's your T2 arrow diamond. I don't know if we're going to get a dot. Doesn't matter. But T2 goes to target 2, and that's at 422. Also, how quickly can that happen? I would say 30 bars. Go 30 bars from this little mid-turn low. 30 bars gets you into like second week of May. So think about that. That's all pure framework, folks. That's how we kind of explain what's going on and have identified this one of several opportunities. And I think it's got a ways to go. What's going on, chat? Everybody, we got Mitch Ray coming in at 1 o'clock, or maybe we'll see what time, whenever, but he'll be in a little later. And we'll take a look at some individual stuff real quick so we can dive deep with Mitch. A couple others. What's up, Sniper Goat? Good to see you. Everyone else, Baby Genius, where have you been, man? Great to see that. What else? We'll talk about Bitcoin in a second. David, Mr. Ken, Mr. News, everyone else, what's going on? Great to have you guys. Come on in. Like I said, Mitch Ray, get him in here about 10 or 15 minutes. And I can't wait. It's been a long time since Mitch and I have done a joint stream. I think the world of Mitch Ray. He does a daily show, and he's been doing it for years. And I attribute Mitch as the primary inspiration for doing this show. Mitch does harmonic patterns probably better than anybody out there. I would say better than everybody out there, or anybody out there, but he does a full technical show. So he is a technical analysis master, and a guy that if you really want to dive deep on technical analysis, you follow Mitch, you get with Mitch on his show, you spend some time and learn from him. He's got great ideas. Check all of them out. I'll give you his info once we give him the full introduction. But everyone else, great to see you guys. Let's get this out of the way. So let's do a 30-day package for somebody. Please, if you have one prior to this, please don't answer, because if you won previously, I'm not going to give you access. All right, so HPC 30 gets you 30-day package, 30% off, and a 30-day gold membership, and then subscribe if that's what you want to do. So first person to type in HPC 30, you will get it. Happy to talk about a few other things. Yeah, we can get to Rivian and Neo. Those have been some ideas that we've talked about. Here's Neo, guys, and I think Neo, of that group, we've been looking at Neo since all the way down here about 460-ish. Now 653. I think Neo, short term, you're talking like $859, and if not more. Massive bat pattern, type 1. It's going to take time, weekly chart, but you're talking like 2750's target 1. Look, it's not going to happen in a week or month, but that's type 1 framework. For right now, take it in chunks, get to $9. Mr. Stealth Link, you are the winner, and I'll tell you what, Baby Genius, you too. All right, that gets two out of the way, and we're done with that. But you guys hit me up. You got to send me a note on Discord, and I need your TradingView username, email, and full name. Everyone else, I encourage you to join us over in the Discord. You have any questions, you can reach out to me. And please watch out. We got, like I said, we got this stupid scammer. He's soliciting money, and for a trading program. I don't do anything like that. What we do here is keep it cool, basic education, access to everything you want, and yeah, give me if you reach out to me and you want to try out what we do on the Gold Channel thread for a week or two, I'm happy to oblige. All right, it's the only way I can do this. If I don't keep it cool, becomes a pain in the ass. I just say screw it. It's not worth my time. But we do it that way, and it's the best way to do it. Before I jump any further, yes, let's get that Bitcoin update. And I want to talk about right off the bat. I want to talk about semiconductors again, and I want to talk about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin here is sitting at 74,800. And it is coming back. We talked about this kind of return move to 74K. And it doesn't change anything about what our downside targets by October are. But we do have some HSI things that we have to deal with. You go here on the daily, we're getting overbought. And we're checking back. So a lot of resistance up here. This is still quite early in that process, so you need a few more days. You're going to need some red candles. The other reason, bring in harmonic patterns here, we have back to back to back harmonic patterns. Check out what we're looking at is target 2. Okay, we've been dealing with a few. This Gartley to Shark. And then the Shark target 2 was up here 74.8. So that's all of that's right there. Hold on, let me see if he's ready to rock. Hold on one second. Let me round that out. Yeah, give me a second here. 1 second. Okay, good. And that's fine. That's fine. Hold on 1 second. Let me just send him a note. Okay, great. And that's about it. Let Bitcoin complete this relief rally. We'll see what goes on here. Keep it simple. One of the easiest ways that we've designed the software, especially with the indicator, directionally on like a 4-hour chart, just come in and say, all right, where's the last dot? Where's the last HSI dot? And last week we talked about that. Actually, we talked about, sorry, not last week. This was yesterday. We talked about this dot last week being resistance, and then over the weekend we had an HSI bullish to send it back up. And even on the daily stuff that we said this trigger had to be retested. That's how it normally works to confirm the HSI. And so we're there. The peak there is that high level is 74,680. Call it 75. We said 74 last week, 75, big fat round number. So that is what I'm looking for. How would it end? Like, what would be the signal that this would resume back down? It's going to be in the shape of, 2 days. Okay, and after today, maybe if we go bearish today, you still have 7 hours. We need 2 more red bars. So even then, okay, 2 more red bars. We're just not even anticipating this relief rally to end on Bitcoin until 2 red days. That's it. Relief rally, let it come on up. You have a few reasons why Bitcoin has stabilized. I will say this, okay? Bitcoin putting in the dot on Sunday was a big deal. I think that's that kind of confirmation. I'm not going to ignore that. And even more so, we've said that Ethereum is another one that we've been waiting on the yellow dot. And Thursday, I said that Ethereum probably was ready for a little bump. I've just been kind of really shit posting, quite frankly, on Ethereum and really dumping on it for a while. But I last week said, well, listen, some kind of relief rally off of this yellow dot confirmation would not surprise me. Go back to 25, 2,800, and still be in a downtrend. But if you want to understand why we're getting this relief rally, well, there you go. We've seen that in a few different places. Ethereum and Bitcoin are probably the only two I'm going to consider. Only two crypto I would consider longer term. I'm not there yet. I think the whole cycle will play out till October. And I've mentioned this before that my longer term strategy for Bitcoin, Ethereum, essentially will let this bear year cycle play out, which is supposed to be targeted till October. And then we'll see. Okay. But Ethereum for now, okay, has a couple of signals that I'm not going to be dismissive on it. I'm not looking for, a moon phase or explosion, but I'll look for stabilization. I kind of think it's going to be something like back in 2022 where we triggered it and then we spent the better part of 6 months kind of back testing, consolidating, stabilizing before anything significant materialized. So we got that. Okay, got a little note. Mitch might be in a few more minutes, so we got a couple of things that we can look at. Great to see everybody. Come on in. Yep, Mitch Ray, TA, be here momentarily. A couple of things I gotta highlight that are just impressive, and the semiconductor index, guys, is your path to generational wealth. If you're gonna talk crypto, if you're gonna talk AI data centers, if you're gonna talk anything, it's gonna all start with the SOX index, which I've been saying for a long time. 10K is probably an easy target, if not higher. And some of the ones that I featured, we talked about these second tier semiconductors like Microchip and On Semiconductor and Marvel Tech are still things that are working. And I actually added to On Semi, ON. There's a few others that I'm looking at, but here's On Semi. I'm looking for these breakouts now. Now where the semis are exploding. I think that the kind of the generational move is happening. We see Nvidia ready to rock. And it's remarkable because it did do this amazing 382. The 382, 38.2% retracement is such a powerful tool because when you recognize a brief, short 382 retracement, it's usually going to lead to a follow through 1618. This is one of the simple relationships within harmonic levels that talk about framework, talk about being able to understand trend and price action. The first move from last year, well, that was a 1618, little 1618 1902 overspill. And this is pure framework, guys, where if you're new to harmonics, welcome. The harmonic ratios, the 1618, that's our primary metric. There's a lot of relationships we can base assessments off of. And once you recognize that, which it was, it makes sense why that 382 is such a critical number. That was at 165, 164. Now 194. I believe this has already begun where you're going to see new highs in Nvidia very soon. And if not new highs, I'm probably going to just start leaning to that new price target, which is like 235 or 240 for that next level. And you see it across the board. Look, weekly is breaking out on HSI. That's a big deal. Really big deal. So, we got that. We got these data center moves. And then the other thing is the spec plays from last year that were explosive monsters. Things like Bloom Energy, remarkable here. I mean, doing the next wave. Bloom Energy, 214, up 37 today. Guys, forget about it. This thing has got a long way to go. Market capitalization, that's something everyone should be looking at. Okay, because what is it going to be? Is it going to be a medium sized company, 5 billion, 10 billion, 50 billion, or is this going to be a monster 100, 200, 300 billion dollar corporation? I mean, once you start cracking the 50 billion dollar level, it's like the inertia takes over. And so, there's a few reasons why I say Bloom Energy probably started the run to get you to be $100 billion minimum company. Okay, just sheer on inertia after this latest pause continuation. The really kind of the easy way to look at it as well. How do we know that this thing is so strong? We had a retest to the 50 level, one, and a secondary low. Now, not only are you breaking out, but you're above the prior high. Folks, this is where price acceleration really can just get crazy. So, this is also the point where things get serial, bar over bar over bar, straight up. That's what started here. Up 20% today. Okay? Not a biggie. Not a biggie here. A couple of the others that I think need to get on the radar quickly. We've seen Amazon. Okay? Amazon's just doing remarkable things where if you want to know why the market's doing what it's doing, there you go. Check this out. Like Amazon, we've been talking about the $190 to $200 level for a while. And that weekly continuation. Look at this just monster move. Guys, Amazon's at 250 today. And just looking like it's ready for another 1618 advance. And you go back to last year, okay, that kind of continuation. We're already at the 886. So a lot of that is just already kind of tipping its hat, and this isn't a one-off deal. I said this last week that a lot of the geopolitical noise was just noise. In the meantime, the markets, they responded. They didn't have any follow through, and now look at what they're going, what they're doing. This kind of aggressive move is a big one. Couple of new ideas, really quick. Couple of new ideas. I mentioned SMCI. It was something we waited on for a long time. Okay, why? It needed the type 2. Here's a massive bat pattern. Guys, this is why you get the software. Drawing by hand is definitely great to understand the ratios, but the pattern metrics and the combination of ratios, like you're not always going to get that exact high to low drawing, but you can get stuff where the parameters, off of a pivot point like that has everything you need. Proper B point, A, B, C, D metrics. And so off of the 2023 launch point, that 886 was at 22 bucks. Since then, we hit it, we reversed. All right, no confirmation yet, but not confirmation that hit after that, but we do have progress above the 50, and I'll even go on the daily here, looking like this, kind of back testing some weekly structure. That's a new one. I'm not long it yet, but I'm definitely close. Let me see here. Hold on a second. All right, great. Let me get Mitch in here. Hold on one minute. Let me get him in here. Let me buzz him in a second, and I'll bring Mitch into the conversation. And then the other one, here's something we logged, and I wanted a quick shout out. Okay, good. Do that. Do that. Okay, great. Okay, great. buzz at 115. Okay, great. Um, the other one, and I wanted to shout this out. Someone brought up this Keel. Okay, Keel infrastructure. And I was pretty amazed. And whoever, I forget who brought that up, and I want to send you a thank you because I started a big position in that, a few thousand shares, and added to that. I think this is the old Bit Farms. I took a look. They are one of these data centers, one of these prior Bitcoin miners that's now a data center play. Love it. That's exactly what I want. I don't want Bitcoin miners. I want Bitcoin miners that locked in those energy contracts and now ready to do high margin data center business. I'm thinking this Keel infrastructure, formerly Bitmines, BITF was the former symbol, now KEEL. We're looking at 356 immediately. It's a target one, type one. Whoever posted that, I appreciate. I want to shout out to everyone. A couple more. We got a few more minutes, and we're gonna get Mitch here. He's gonna brew up some coffee. I wish I could use a Coca-Cola, quite frankly. But I'm being healthy, drinking some water. Oracle, yes, coming back to life, off of some major signals. Something we've waited on for a long time. What it ended up being was a retest of last year's Gartley. It was one of these looping type twos, 141.28. I don't think you're looking for that to come back. Short term, it's a target two off of there, but I do like it a lot. I do like it a lot, and I don't think many of these you're going to get hurt on many of these. You just buy them, even if you get drawdown, guys. The whole goal of what we're doing, measuring out harmonic pattern framework with confirmation, is to define those longer term turning points weekly against long term trends, which that's Oracle. Okay, yeah, Oracle got clipped after tripling. It got clipped at least 60%, but it's another buy opportunity and a long term against the trend. Harmonic patterns against a long-term uptrend with confirmation. Let's go. One other one, okay, Paramount Skydance. This is another fat pattern we talked about a long time ago, waiting for the confirmation. We got our ADD, arrow diamond dot, down here at 850, 880, and this isn't even out of the zone yet. So, I'm okay. You guys want to go on this? I'm looking for a target one at 1436. These are just a few of the ideas that I've been waiting on, looking for. And then I want to kind of redress one or two things that, we've waited on. Maybe we're a little late even now, but I'm thinking Reddit. I'm thinking Reddit's finally turning where these numbers, yeah, it was down at 130, but I'm thinking Reddit wants to do the move, the breakout to 198. It's a massive Gartley, guys. It's huge, and weekly we've got great confirmation. Guys, this is an established uptrend arrow diamond dot or arrow dot diamond, and that's going to be official this week. But pattern looking left, got it. Confirmation, yeah, and starting to show that progress. I mean, it's been a strong week for that. AVAV. I like, okay, yeah, and that was someone wants to look at this aerial drone AVAV, right? Is that what you're looking for? AeroVironment? That's the drone maker, right? What are the market cap there? Like 10 billion. Um, I know what you're getting at. I think it's a good idea. I don't have any signals there quite yet. How about a weekly? Yeah, I mean it's maybe a little early on that. But I like. Look, the drone thing is a real deal, a real sector you're going to have to consider. And I'm coming at it from the chips, which is like on semi and M chip and Marvel and some of those others. Lattice Semiconductor. That's one that I told you guys I started last week, and that's really starting to move. So a lot of these are starting to show a lot of life up here. What was the other one? Red Wire. Yeah, I'm looking at that. Who put that up in there? Um, Wayne. Okay, Wayne brought up the Keel pick, so thank you, Wayne. Shout out. Yeah, and I maybe I'll buy you lunch if that thing can get to 350. I think it'll easily get to 350. Anthony wants to look at Palantir, and Palantir at 130, guys, has been the pattern where we've identified this for quite some time. It's a shark pattern right off the top. Everyone knows Palantir's a monster. 131 is the harmonic optimal price level, and it's clearly responding. I mean, you'd have to go back to the February confirmation that looks like a retest. But are we going to get shark to 5-0? That's kind of what I'm hoping, looking for. So monitor it. I like it. I'll tell you what, that's going to happen. It's not this week, but next week we will get our first dot since 2022. So that's a big deal. Weekly signals, HSI, right there, the green arrow. Last week we checked it back. That's probably why we did the retest of 130. You got a pattern on the daily. You got massive weekly confirmation. We're going to need a green week this week, green week next week, and that could be the signal that sends it. So you're seeing a lot of this stuff. We haven't seen confirmation. We haven't seen things develop like this in quite some time. So it's looking like we're ready. Get it? I mean, look, we've been patient. I haven't done much really since like October, November. Been kind of sitting on my hands until the last week or so. Looking good though. All right, great. We're gonna bring Mitch in. Let me get myself. Mitch, give me 1 second. Okay, I'll buzz you. Okay, let me set this up. Let me make sure he's set up. We're gonna bring Mitch Ray TA in here. Let me make sure the. Okay, great. We'll get him. Let me boost some levels and get him. Buzz him right now. Okay, let's see here.
Hey,
Mitch Ray, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing better. Just still recovering a little shoulder injury, but it'll be fine. We're looking good. Everybody, Mitch Ray TA, the one and only. Thanks so much, man,
Hello, everyone.
for coming in
Yeah,
here.
man. Been a minute, but at least we're able to collaborate on some decent market turnaround. Like really, like good God, man. Like just I've been dealing with this garbage crap with my contractors, this TV thing for like 2 weeks now, and it's a nightmare. Ongoing nightmare. Brand new TV. It's still busted, messed up. They installed it. Waste of money, waste of time. But I'm looking. I get back in my office and I'm looking at like all these markets, like the Hong Kong 33. I mean, we're talking the China A50, right? I mean, we're talking the Nikkei right now. Like they're all at like highs of day, pumping as we're speaking. As you've been you know, podcasting, if you will. Gold pumping like crazy, silver insane. Goodbye purchasing power. That's all I can say. Like bye bye.
Everybody want to give Mitch Ray a big shout out. You can follow him over on Twitter at Mitch Ray TA. Please, he should have way more followers than me. So go hook up with Mitch over there. Everyone get over, give him a follow. And he's on, every night. What he's like 7 o'clock Eastern on YouTube.
6 p.m. Eastern now, but 7 when it's daylight savings time. But hopefully they're getting rid of that. So yeah, we don't have to deal with that time change anymore. But yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern right now. most of the time, but like sometimes I'll go like 7 p.m. Just depends on the conditions. Lately, because of commodities and U.S. futures under the spotlight, been going live for the open, like Sunday evening, 6 p.m. And how crazy have these Sunday evening opens been? Oh my God. And then how they have completely inversed within an under 24-hour period. It has been like so unpredictable, so dramatic, so headline driven. And now like what is it? The S&P 500 up what 11, 12% in 11 days, 12 days?
Yeah,
V
and it's
shape?
yeah, this got to be a V. Uh,
What a V, man.
yeah, I mean, well, incredibly, the spies at 693, we're already at that 886 retest on the weekly today in dramatic fashion, like blowout kind of blow through fashion, and that was that 886 is like 690. So
Insane. Absolutely insane to see it. Do you think though, like if we had I'm not even trying to, I mean, this is probably over. We might just keep going. It'll be just like last year, carbon copy. But do you ever think about like on the weekly, if we had some sort of crab pattern that hit a price reversal zone at the gold mean ratio where we reversed? Do you think this might be a type two in the making or nah, dude, V shape, all time highs, 7,500 soon?
I think there's two considerations there, and what I see what you're saying. It's all about this 1618 advance that happened last year. I mean, it was pretty for the QQQ. It was almost perfect. Same with the SPY, and that is a kind of a solitary number. For me, the 618 and the 1618 are the primary two numbers that all harmonics are based off of. And you look at that of what that did is kind of more of a pause behavior than anything else. And I think what it's kind of saying that like, is this the type two, the
Yeah,
retest? And I'm gonna say no because technically we never did the 38.2% retracement on the SPY. So this is
crazy.
yeah, it's more shallow, which says the overall retracement is just kind of a
30%? Was that it?
that was it, and it's not a 382.
Unbelievable. Like that that is that's just testament to how insane the rally last year was then because it looks like if you're just staring at your screen, it's like, "Oh yeah, it looks like a 382. Yeah, maybe 40%." But and they didn't even on the Nasdaq, they didn't even back test the old all-time highs. I don't even think on the Spider they did they?
The SPY not really like these were
Front ran it. They front
yeah,
ran it.
little
Wow.
little bit, but they that kind of behavior, and then I got some triggers, some indicator harmonic strength stuff that wherever it comes in off of that reaction, for me is just a way to look at it and say, all right, is it going to be like a tepid reaction or is it going to be something more? This is looking real tepid, and happening at a point where the bullish confirmations coming in where we're almost about to break out to all-time new highs, and for me, I would just assume that we're in the process of a breakout that just is going to do another 1618 advance for the SPY that gets you up to like 750.
My God, man. If they push it just a little bit higher, I mean, what? Like if they push it to, let's say they push it up 0.38%, through 0.39%, we could have a record close on the S&P 500 today, this afternoon. Like that, what? People were like, it's over, credit cycle, or the private credit collapse, trade of Hormuz, it's over in 10%, 10.35% in 14 trading sessions.
Yeah.
Unreal. Like that is just I can't imagine people that were short. Like people got completely squeezed out. And maybe that's possibly some of the culprit to this violent squeeze is a ton of short covering. I think I read on X that hedge funds hit like a record level of short covering the past week. Just they were underwater and just had to buy back, and maybe that's contributing to this violence, bullish violence.
I think a week or two ago, I think the put call ratio got out of hand.
Yeah, it
And
was so crowded. It was so overcrowded.
yeah, that, and then we did have, I mean, as crazy as it was, the VIX almost got to 40. What was that? It was 35 on the VIX. What was it back? It was a month ago, March.
Yeah,
And
March 9th. Yeah, 35.4. Yeah.
I actually, the VIX is not, doesn't trade really smoothly enough to generate quality patterns, but I'm
Yeah,
showing.
you can't TA VIX. It's so headline driven, you know. It's so reactive, you know. It's not it reacts to the market. It doesn't right. There's no composite operator accumulating a position, like conducting a buying campaign on the VIX, right? So or there's no distribution campaign. So yeah, TA tenuous, right? Tenuous analysis.
But the software kicked out a pattern. The software kicked out a bearish,
Hmm.
perfect type two. It's it's kind of it's not
Yeah.
smooth, but I'm showing it here on the screen where there actually was a type two based on all the internal algorithms I have. Like there was enough bars there, the ratios were right, and that hop level, the max level for this VIX move was like 30, and so that seems to have worked where, it already tanked to target two, where, if you were going to have a problem with the VIX or if this blockade was going to do anything and cause World War III, well, the VIX is saying, no, I'm done. I'm ready to go back down, to like a 16 level. Whereas like I have some next levels here, or even an 886 of VIX reading, which the low was like 13. That says VIX is going to come back, retest pretty much lows of the year. And just look at that environmentally. That what's that saying? Is saying that we're pretty much going full on bull. No
And
matter.
14.65 to me seems like the candidate level. If you're below 20, if you look at the straight up and down, like 1465 is your target. So it's hitting the 200 moving average today for the first time since February 12th. So 2 months, 2 month lows virtually on, I mean, close enough on the VIX.
Yeah, and so think also, how everyone responded last year to the tariffs, and that the top there on at last March. I mean, we weren't bombing Iran. We didn't have a fleet of ships in the Strait of Hormuz. That got to 60. Yet all this war action barely can generate half of that reading, which
Yeah.
says a lot of it, it's probably just FUD in the long-term sense of things. It probably means like a full-on let's rock and roll back on the long-term trend again. That I still think we're in a massive sweet spot, second half of the decade move where we see crazy numbers, big numbers that hasn't stopped the since the COVID low. I think
Yeah.
that was like a 2008 event, and we could start making big assumptions, longer term assumptions that we're in a new mega cycle since then.
Well, I mean, is it any coincidence that the M2 hit an all-time high again?
Yeah, no coincidence.
Huh. Dude, it's like I feel so bad for people that are not participating in financial instruments that are at least negating that monetary debasement, keeping up with it. It's crazy. I think we might be in a new paradigm of debasement right now. Like actually.
Yeah, I also, my experience after 2008 was the fact that they just unleashed all of that crazy QE infinity, and it still took 5 years before the market really responded to that money flooding in. I mean, I go back, you,
18 months. Yep.
you go back like go back. I mean, it seems like forever ago. Um, 2008, they came back, and they were flooding, flooding, flooding for 5 years, and we didn't have that all-time breakout. It was 16. So it was like 8 years before we got the accelerated move. And then I'm thinking, that the QE stuff post COVID, I always thought it would take like 4 or 5 years for the financial markets to feel that full effect. And I think we're about to do that secondary kind of big breakout. I personally was hoping we would see more of a shakeout like last year. I don't think it's going to happen. I've got the signals that at least on the weekly that I've wanted to see for some time, and we're just let's judge what the 886 does across the board. The thing to be looking for is just a smash this 886. You smash that 886 like we did last year, then we can just default that this market's on a straight move to the 1618.
Yeah, like your Nasdaq. I guess we're just gonna go test 26,124 again. I mean, like tomorrow, today. Probably not today, but
Yeah,
uh,
maybe tomorrow, Thursday. You get, and I agree that there's probably a lot of shorts that still have to cover, a lot of TDS traders that bring too much emotion into the larger market scenario and think that he's going to cause the end of the world. At the same time, you look at what's possible here of a complete rearrangement of the entire Middle East. Finally, that
hmm.
that they settle this out now. Whatever's going on now, higher gas prices, all this stuff that people are complaining. People are complaining about 3.3 inflation. Are you kidding me? I mean, compared to 4 years ago, that's three point whatever inflation is nothing. So rates will come down, prices will come down. The kind of the peak fear scenario, you're already on the backside of that with this
Hmm.
undercurrent of massive monetary expansion. Government's still going to spend 2+ trillion a year deficit spending. Trump wants a trillion 5 for the military. Where's that going to go? It's going to go to
Oh my
tech,
God.
chips, AI. So
Yeah.
you know,
But it's gonna, at the expense of who?
well, purchasing power and people that
Yeah.
don't own any, like you don't own a house, you don't own stocks, and you try to, work a paycheck to get by and expect to get anywhere. No, that's not going to work. I mean, you're going to have to own stocks. You're going to have to own assets to basically fight that inflate or that debasement, as you said. And I think it's the stocks is the way to go. I mean, the stocks are going to fly.
Yeah, with real estate though, I mean, like people that bought real estate and past 2022, they're not making money because of the, how 2020, 2021, that 18-month period, like houses doubled in price, and you're still coming off of that. You're still coming off that like euphoria and mania. So real estate's not even like a good place, like right now. Like I'd rather just like I own my place, but I'd rather just rent and use the capital instead of uh, just sitting here doing nothing, not appreciating in value at all, just sitting there rotting to generate gain on these markets versus yeah, what it's doing now. Like it's I think that's happening in a lot of places all over the country. No one's making money on their house. Like it's not going up because it did it already like 3 years, 4 years ago.
Depends on the market too, but you do have mass generational shifts going, population shifts. You've got the whole northern abandoned blue city abandonment move is, that's only going to continue. Us in Miami, we're going to be fine. Texas, fine. But if you're in California and Northeast, yeah, you're probably going nowhere if not down. But I think that's also a big sign of migrating towards where the energy is. Where's natural gas? Where can we get energy cheaper? Cost of living be cheaper, and this is you got peak baby boomer retirement going on. So there's a lot of generational shifts that it's going to work itself out. I still think like longer term for a chunk of whatever real estate is part of it, but stocks and allocation to the market and equities that's the generational move that between now 2026 till we get to 2030 is going to mirror 1995's or even 2005, where you have that second half of the decade move that is just outpaces historically. Those decennial cycles do matter, and it's you accelerate. I go back to I want to show I want to pull up a monthly chart of the Dow, and the Dow you go back to mid 2000s or even like mid 90s. If the whole AI thing is like the dot com thing, and 1996 we were trading on the Dow essentially like where we are today was like 52 5300. We peaked out at 11,005, that being a double by the end of the decade. Could that happen? Can Dow go to 100 and what, 100,000? Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. It will happen. It just, it'll be a long time. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen like fast. Certainly, it'll happen though, because again, monetary debasement. That's inflation.
Yeah, and you see that in since '08. That was just the end all be all of monetary expansion trades, and then the 2020 move, it just keeps on trucking. I think it's you know the bigger plays that have been continuing in the trend channels of like Microsoft, Amazon, Apple are that's they're just kind of quasi government agencies at this point where they're always going to get an allocation of the budget to run the government, and that is, I mean, those trends, monetary supply, all of that, government spending, unfortunately, is going to just continue to be the way it is and just go with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't have reservations about real estate right now until interest rates go down. Like, I mean, people don't want to sell their houses if they got locked into their low rates, and that's causing like a complete glut in the market, and the houses are still too high, and it like no one can justify buying right now. So, and what I would prefer, I wish Trump, what he would do, or anyone in power would create some sort of portable mortgage rate where, okay, I have 3.5% or whatever from years ago. I can sell my home and hold on to that mortgage and upgrade to a better house, to a bigger house, because you cannot upgrade. If you sell your house, your 3.5% mortgage, you like go into like a 6% mortgage, and you can't get, your mortgage is higher for the same house, the same amount of house. So like that's where I think the huge problem is in real estate. So I would just, yep, that's my issue with it. And that whole thing you're talking about, the migration, that all happened. The migration happened, and you saw the big booms all over, like in Texas and Florida, and like all the stats I'm seeing now is like there's like record numbers of sellers to buyers, and rents are like collapsing because they're getting rid of like immigrant, illegals and stuff like that, so, which is good. The rent should be cheaper, but in terms of like, I think that's all deflationary for a real estate as an asset to own. Like it's not really a good thing for people that bought. If you bought before the COVID crash, of course you're good. But like if you bought after the COVID crash, you haven't made any money. Your property value isn't going up in value, and hasn't in years. So, but anyway, I don't, we're talking charts and stuff. But
Yeah. What do you think about Bitcoin?
I don't know. It's like, what's wrong with it? Like, I'm looking at all the index fund futures right now as I'm speaking to you, virtually at session highs, at highs of entire face ripping historic V-shaped reversal. And I'm looking at Bitcoin right here at 74.4, completely reversing. I mean, was there news or something? It's like Bitcoin's this really, it acts like this garbage tech stock. It's like an old IBM, like it's old tech. It doesn't really work anymore, and there's better stuff. I don't know. It's not like, what is it doing? Like it just hit the resistance, which I understand is like a double bottom confirmation line, 76,044, that peak from March 17th. That it was just rejected so violently. I mean, it's down about 2% off the highs, and all the altcoins are, yeah, 2.2% off the highs of day, while everything else, all risk on, everything in the world, gold, silver, stocks, Japan, China, uh, all of it, they're ripping and they're at session highs. And I'm looking at Bitcoin completely wipe out that previous 4 hour bullish engulfing candle right now. I'm kind of confused. I don't really understand where is its place in the world of the markets. I don't really get it. It's how what were we talking about? The S&P off its highs, like a percent or less now, and Bitcoin off its all-time highs by a 41.4%.
Yeah.
So you tell me, what do you think about Bitcoin?
Well, I think if we're going to follow the same cycles on the way up, you're going to have to follow it on the way down. I still say that the long term, like every cycle, I don't know if you've seen that post. I can probably find it on my X feed. Every cycle has gone through that 78.6% retracement every time, every cycle, no matter what. And I'll find the chart and I'll bring it up. But and mimicked some of the daily stuff, the daily counts of the fact that I forget what it was, 360 something days of a bear cycle. But all of those cycle days have been uncanny, and then the retracements and kind of the harmonic thing that I've been talking about since I guess I posted this in December. That every time they hit a 78.6% retracement of the prior cycle. And so why would it not be different this time? That gets you all the way down to like 39K. Here we go. All right, I found December 14th. I'll post this. This is on my X. Here you go. It's December 14th. I posted this, and just go through the charts really quickly. From 2008 low all the way back, that was a minimum 786. The 2015 low, again, that was another one, incredibly at 250 or so. And the three more. 2019 was another minimum 786. 2023, I'm just kind of flashing some charts here. Another one. And so then 2027, why wouldn't I just assume that that's not going to happen again? Um, we're getting some confirmation. Surely we're oversold, but I'm not going to stray off of that until it really happens. And I don't know, the crypto, the last cycle was so underperforming that if crypto does come back, I don't think it comes back in a widespread manner where it floats all boats. You might get Ethereum to run, you might get Bitcoin to run after it finishes the retracement, but these meme coins and other use case, quote unquote, crypto coins, I just think they've played themselves out. So it's the free for all speculative kind of concept bull market in crypto in general is over, and you do
The
have the
easy money phase.
yeah, and then you do have the other real issues of like, okay, the cryptography, if the quantum computing breakthroughs can
Hmm.
crack that, that's a real concern.
Yeah, that
Um,
might be a reason why this is so like pathetic of a recovery compared to everything else. Like I saw like when that news came out, that was like literally the news came out maybe March 26th or 28th or something. That was where we neared the bottom around 65K again. And I remember Ethereum didn't respond as negatively as Bitcoin did to that news, because I think Ethereum might have on its protocol some ability to defend against quantum. But yeah, I remember that, and it's like, okay. But yeah, that is kind of worrisome, possibly. Uh, but it might just be FUD too for now. Could be FUD.
Well, here's a personal anecdote. I don't know if I ever told you this. I shared this with my crew back in October. A good family friend of mine. Okay, he works for Swift. He's been working for Swift for, I don't know, 15 years, and he's literally best friends with the president of Swift. And I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, it has it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they have their place. But he said, but, don't for a second think that Swift is just going to not develop their own system and just turn it over to an XRP or just try to adopt some other coin. They can easily build out their own system with the blockchain technology and it not be crypto. And it absolutely for me sealed the deal on kind of the whole mantra that this is going to take over everything when the big banks aren't going to give it up. They're not going to turn it over to like an XRP where those people say XRP, yeah, everything's going to be tokenized and everything, and all the banks are going to use their system. When I heard it straight from someone on the inside that Swift is going to have their own thing within the next 12 months. I mean, back then it was April. He was saying 18 months. So, probably at some point next year, Swift does institute like full on blockchain system that won't need the the systems that XRP built and others built. They won't need it. And the numbers he cited to me that they transact, I think if I recall correctly, they they process every 2 or 3 days. They process, I don't know how many, 100 trillion or something. The numbers were crazy. And so they're already doing it, is my point. And for them to bring in simple blockchain technology is not, it's not something they can't copy off these other guys. And so you look at XRP is like the number one up there that's saying, hey, we're gonna take over the world and we're gonna be the end all be all. XRP is going to $100. It's now 137. It was
Yeah.
340.
Well, that's physically impossible. I mean, for it to be at numbers like that, it would be the market cap of XRP would have to be more than the entirety of all of human civilization's money. Like it's not possible. But people are stupid, so really stupid.
Yeah, I think that's the days of those blind statements are over, surely. And XRP for me had a big pattern last year, a big pattern that gave it a nice rally off the 2023 low, but it was a Type 1 rally, and now it's rolling over, and so we come back and retest the pattern on XRP. It's it puts you back at 37 cents, or an all-time 886 reset is an 886, and that's well under a dollar at 75 cents ish. So these downtrends are still in effect. If you look at the chart, you don't listen to the story. I would look at that and say, well, if I didn't know anything about it, I clearly this thing needs a deeper retest before I even consider it. And and I'll ignore all this other stuff that has not played out. And I think most of people getting absolutely burned, losing 99% of whatever all-time value that most of these did, the meme coins, whatever, is a real travesty, is a real learning process. That people getting severely burned in that way. They're not coming back. They're not falling for it, on a second time, and not to the degree that they did from 2020 to 2024. Those were unique conditions. And then I was talking to the crew here about what happened with the Bitcoin miners. Which ones really did work were the ones that shifted to data center plays, because what ended up happening is they were able to secure those energy contracts at low prices and then switch over. The people like, I'd say Iran is probably top of the list, a few others where they quickly shifted to data center and take, but the contract, the energy contracts that they locked in for, some of these guys locked them in on 10-year terms. The contracts alone were worth big cash, and that's why those worked. Then others didn't. Something like Amara, which maybe they'll get smart and switch over, but Mara is back where it was all the way in 2023, zero residual gain.
Didn't they
Um,
have to sell some of their Bitcoin
yeah, I don't
recently? Yeah, they had to sell some of their Bitcoin.
probably to
So
stay
bad.
alive, and
Yeah.
they're probably switching over. If you haven't, they're switching over. Don't and if they don't, then it's not going to work. Here's something. I don't know if I posted this to you. Someone brought up this Keel infrastructure. They were the former Bit Farms. So
Hmm.
now trading under KEEL, and you go on the daily. Okay, big, beautiful bat pattern, confirmation, everything. And the reason why
Wow, what a day today.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I still have this plotted. Yeah, back in July last year. Holy crap, played out. I don't even. Someone probably requested this on stream. I don't even remember this thing existing. And you, my God, what a beautiful harmonic. And then wow, it pulls back, hits support around 188,206, confirms it, and now look at it. It's up in 2 days. This thing's up 30%. Wow, and at resistance, if it breaks 288, it could be running to like 430. That's insane, dude.
it's a beautiful chart. It's one that I know
Keel.
you like with the higher lows, longer term. And so I'm long this. I'll stay long this, and I looked into it over the weekend, and it's because they shifted into a data center play. So if you're a miner and you're moving in data center, I'll consider it. And that one, I like that one. I'm looking at a few of those kind of related plays. I said Iron, Clean Spark is another one where it's interesting, but it kind of falls in this category of miners not doing anything. But um, we'll see if this can really get anywhere. There's like pretty clear difference between the ones that are working, the ones that aren't working, the other one not working that everyone talked about was Riot. And Riot's, Riot was at these prices again. Like you're up today, but you haven't made progress in 4 years, and you're off the all-time highs where what was that all-time high way back in 22?
I'll
Uh,
be real though with Riot, man. Long term, like what they did November to March of this year, like triple bottoming, and guess what? Of this potential like high or low situation, that's the highest low back above the 200 and definitely back above 1763, a major inflection point that goes back to 2012. So being above that given enough time is like a 2279, 2378 resistance test. And if they ever break that, then $40. So actually, like if you look at probably the monthly on Riot, it looks most likely insane. I'm gonna look at it. Dude, it's like a three rising valleys on the monthly. That's actually freaking nuts. Riot. This might be like a meme position for one to just like be in and wow, like that monthly candle. This month is up 48% and just at solid levels. I don't know. I mean, that to me, anything above 942 on Riot on the monthly is phenomenal. So I'm just yeah, I love that, dude. I really love that.
well, if they got into a data center and started opening it up and converting, I think that's a definite play because
Wow,
the whole
dude. Let me just show you kind of like what I'm talking about. how I've got it. I just sent it to you, DM'd you. I mean, you don't have to show it. I'm just showing you like what I'm seeing here on the monthly. Like look at the positive price action correlation for the past like 6 months to $12. How they
Yeah,
like held it, they captured it and they defended it and held it for half a year.
yeah. I mean, if it's going to be a real play, I always love going on the 3 bar approach. Your 3 bar high was like $21, so we could close the month above there. Then maybe you could start thinking this is doing something more than just a reaction. But yeah, I could see that. It's probably better than Mara itself. Where Bitcoin is, I don't know. The MicroStrategy. I'm looking at that as well. Coinbase, those two, indirect plays. MicroStrategy. It's got check out the massive on screen there, but I've got the software for me on MicroStrategy is kicking out a massive Gartley off of the 2024 low. Confirmation is basically like what is that, like 128, and the XA level, which is where it's 786 and ABCD line up, is like 150. Hasn't turned around to give us like significant individual price bar behavior that's saying, hey, we finally stabilized and we're going to get going. But I would say for the first time in since since the initial low, you're getting something there. I'm not a fan. Like I think the singular Bitcoin play
Yeah.
is a tough task, but I don't want to be dismissive about it. But I can't ignore this massive Gartley. I'll send it over to you on the
Sure. Yeah,
chat.
I see it for sure. The X point being August 2024, but something more important about it is they took it and the buyers are defending the February 2021 peak. If you notice that, you go back years ago. They've defended once and twice now. Like so, anything above like 131 to 123, 124 is like good for risk management actually. Like you could set a stop loss up below 123 and say F this asset if my stop loss gets triggered, but they might come fill a gap for sure at like 130 from where it is. It just blasted off today. But your upside potential on MicroStrategy, if they can keep the price above 123, 131, give it enough time, would be like 174. There's a huge range there. If you go back to 2024, you can see the straight up, straight down moves. That's the target. Given enough time above the 2021 old all-time high. And look at that, what I sent you. I mean, you don't have to show it. I'm just migrate. Like this is what BitX did. It actually presented an effing like M shape. Bitcoin didn't, but due to the nature of decay, for some reason, the levered BitX gave us an M shape, and lo and behold, completed, and that was it. Let me show you real quick. I'm just for memes. I still have it. Yeah, it's still going. This is so crazy, man. Like it's not like perfect or anything. It's not quite formal either on BitX, but it's like a 144 on the D point. So an informal M shape just completes. And you look at it today, it's just wild.
The 2x Bitcoin strategy
Oops,
ETF.
that's the wrong one. I don't know what the heck.
Let me
I
check that
didn't
out. I am not aware of this one.
yeah, kind of wild. Just like
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
yeah, it's like insane. It's like, why did that present itself? And the silver, two-time lever, the ZSL, the shorting silver ETF also did the same thing. Even though it's pulling back now, it had a great run to hit the C point of the and the A point of the harmonic, kind of like BitX has now as of today.
Look at
So,
that. I mean, I wait. I can't. I don't want to be dismissive here, and I'm pulling it up on HPC on,
mhm.
and I've got a shark that's at a hop level, and this week I got to take it to Friday, but I would have confirmation. I mean, ideal confirmation. And the other thing about this that I notice happens a lot with new issues, it might take. a year, it might take 2 or 3 years, but typically you get an IPO that has it does a blast and then it comes back and does an 886 reset. Like that whole 886 reset idea technically is kind of like an adjustment, a correction of whatever the initial euphoria is, and you're there. Like this
Mhm.
BITX 886 there all time is at 1618.
Is that a hop of the chart on your screen?
Yeah, it's 1860.
Hopping.
It
Jesus.
it's hopping. That's I like that. All right.
And then you look at like the levels though. If they can break, they went up and tested 1840 today. If they break 1840, you can clearly see there's no liquidity until 2636. So you would actually be targeting on BitX for about 42% upside on BitX if it breaks 1840. So insane.
Who runs that? Let me just see the 2x thing.
CBOE? I'm not sure. I
That
mean,
is a CBOE. Yeah,
yeah,
CBOE instrument. Thought it was like maybe a Granite shares or something. Man, I've
look it
never
all
seen
up.
that one before. That's interesting. And all right, so why not? Let's look at Coinbase, my least favorite brokerage ever. Almost
Yeah,
lost.
they're all so bad, dude. All crypto exchanges are just complete trash, inferior. Like I'm so happy that like Schwab and all these different brokerages are getting into crypto trading because dude, it's just like I mean, I use Thinkorswim for like everything, and like what you got to understand about these exchanges is they have like liquidity pools. It's like they have like a fulfillment center of anything you want, you can buy it, and you're not going to get destroyed on slippage like you would on any of these exchanges. Also, like because they have liquidity pools, you're not going to be like moving the price. You're not going to be having to like chase bots and get sniped by like literal algos, front running your limit orders. That's what happens on all these crypto exchanges. That's why I hate crypto trading. It's so stupid. When you go to Thinkorswim, you can like, okay, I want allocation to, you know, I want some leverage. You don't even have to take options. You can just do Conal for coin. You can do FU for Ethereum, BitX for Bitcoin. Like if you want to take any sort of gamble or a little bit more risk, you don't have to deal with like, oh, I got liquidated because they're scamming me, like actually hunting me and scamming me. It's not like that on traditional markets, like these effing garbage crypto exchanges. Every one of them, man, they're all the same.
Yeah, I find it interesting that the 886 failed on we were like if the crypto thing was really going to be massive last year, Coinbase should have demolished its all-time high, and
Yeah.
it not only did it stall at the 886, but on the weekly chart we had a big type 2. It was a type 2 bat at that. I mean, right at the hop, 416. That was it, and we did hit target 2 at 150, which is a big deal. And really, like the first time was about 3 weeks ago with that retest where if I wanted to get long, maybe think about it. I don't want to get long on this. My own. I almost had a. I almost lost them from a scam. I got locked out of the account. Had a large amount of money there, and then
See,
was
even more reason to not using crypto
that
exchanges.
would
It's
never
just like,
happen with a Schwab
no,
or anything like that. And that was when I was
no,
like, okay, is the whole thing a scam? If that can happen to me, and I've got no recourse, like
no,
I
of
mean,
course not.
I should have
Wild
been
West, man.
they should have been treating me like a premium client with the amount of money that I had there, and it would took 10 days to process it and 2 days to get a response, and I'm just sitting there, I was all right. I'm never letting this happen again. But technically, the 886, like if this is a reset on the again post IPO run, that's more like $75, and I don't. I think that's played out.
It's a poor man's Ethereum chart for real. Like if you notice the low from April of 2025 to the high, Ethereum went down and made a perfect 88% retrace. What happened to Coinbase? It made an over 100% retrace.
Hmm.
Ethereum today it took out its highs from March of this year, and look at Coinbase, how far off it is from its high. It is a literal poor man's Ethereum chart. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I have confirmation on Ethereum. Down here in weekly around 1900 it came in for the software signals that I
Yeah,
have.
dude, unbelievable weekly M shape on Ethereum. So
Yeah,
freaking good. So perfect.
it's going to take a little while longer.
Yeah.
I really was negative. I thought, all right, if it's a total disaster, then you're looking at like a 1400, 1500 Ethereum. Maybe in
There's
the
just so
last.
much support down there, like just like the zone, like but from like 1735 all the way to like $2,000. There's just so many swing lows, like reversals there, right? I mean, so I would just figure there would be so many people with limit orders and bids and people trying to defend that level and trying to value trade it like down there. Like it was just yeah. I mean, there's just to me, it's and with that 886 and with that M-shaped completion, it seemed like the only thing if you're not going to long it, fine, but the worst thing to do in the world would be shorting it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not like positive on it generally, but I have to respect, and I don't want to get dismissive on these kind of signals, but we are retesting a big crab pattern that marked the low last year. Hop level was 1902, but the confirmation was way lower, like 1500. This year, it came back with an 886, and then I got confirmation around 1800, 1840, and it's responding. So I think even in the short term, go into 25, 26, shit, even as high as like the 3K could be
2,900
possible.
to 3K looks like the most like that. Just like if you're looking at the weekly, that seems like the target 3K. I mean, a harmonic that would be pretty garbage performance too if that was it. For a harmonic. Oh, it goes 50%, 38% of the way. Yeah, if you even think about like just using Fibonacci, raw Fibonacci, I was talking about this on stream yesterday. Like if an asset is just going to make a common retrace from its high to low of that M shape, a 38% retrace is 2984. Let's just say 3K. And that's the beginning of that golden zone. And that extends to the 618, which is 3734. So if the 382, the right? That is confluent with that inflection zone that stems back to 2021. I mean, that would be the target. Like that is your target. 2,900 to 3K minimum.
So you guys heard it here first. Mitch and me both kind of like relief rally. All right, not too bad. Not really not out of the realm of possibility, and enough time. I think that's the other thing that we have stabilized. The last 30 days or so of stabilization without pushing lower is enough time to give it, in my opinion, where you put in a couple higher lows. Okay, development's there to get you back to a minimum retrace level like 3K.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and don't even get excited. That's like 22 to 28% upside potential from here right now. But guess what, man? They take it up there, hits a 382. It could be the lowest high of the intermediate downtrend we've been in since the top. The lowest high. Do you hear me? Because the previous discernible swing high that I see on the weekly is like 33.73. So they could run it up there and we get a violent reversal of the downside and we could be back at 1730 by October, by August. So don't get like common people will conflate what I'm talking about when I say common retraces. It's just like that's a natural thing, and then it makes a lower high. It hits one of those levels, and then it's over. Like the whole run could be over at that point. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Ethereum with the whole smart contract network, I think that maybe has a different application than Bitcoin. The chart is sitting on this long-term 5-year uptrend channel, and it held amazingly.
yeah, yeah,
Again, not to get dismissive. I'm not a fan of it, but
yeah. If I talk, I don't
technically,
care. Yeah,
yeah, technically, I gotta respect that.
it's just charts, man. It's just value perceived area. It's just like fine, you don't like it, don't do anything. But if you're gonna go short, well, get ready to get destroyed. Probably. I mean, that's gonna happen to you because this is like the dumbest place ever to be going short on something like Ethereum on the weekly. It's insane.
Yeah,
But
we
this has
can.
been the case for weeks. I mean, like the initial reaction like that, it wasn't even. You can't even say that Ethereum's bat pattern has reacted yet, maybe because we haven't even hit a 23% retrace, which is at 25.20. That's the most insane thing about this M shape.
Yeah.
Ethereum might have to go up another 7.58% for us to be able to say buy your book. We have a confirmed. Well, I don't know, right? Like because a type 1 reaction's a 382, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so we'd have to go up 23 to 25% from here to get a type 1 reaction confirmation.
But emphasis on reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, because then like later we crash and then we go back down and retest and we get a type 2 way later in the year.
Yeah, it's like 2950 ish, somewhere around there, 3K,
Yep. Yep.
and then rejected back down. And I know that what's his face? Eric Trump was, at 4,700. That's who ran it. Him and Tom Lee. They were,
God.
they got all their money. They got billions in funding, and then I don't know how those. I don't know how
Got
they're.
paid bonuses. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, I mean, all these people, dude. Like, there are these clown grifters, like one's like the Pompliano guy. He like trying to give himself like a 500 million billion dollar bonus or something, and his like scam digital asset treasury company quote unquote is like down 99%. You know, David Bailey from Bitcoin Magazine, actually, unfortunately, University of Alabama graduate, his little digital asset company is down 99.9%. Like absolute biggest failures, like all these people doing this, and it doesn't matter, they get paid so much money and they're like the biggest losers in the history of finance,
Yeah, Tom Lee.
still like running right now. Yeah, Tom Lee down what, how many, 3 4 billion dollars, it doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, they rushed in. It's like, the money was burning a hole in their pocket. They weren't looking at a chart. They're just saying, okay, they're just looking up, Ethereum's going to 20,000, so that makes buying at 4,000 cheap. And yeah, now you're down 50 plus percent, 60% off where they got into. But they don't care because, like you said, they got paid. And they were just looking to get paid. I'm looking at Bitminer. What is that? Bitmine immersion, and currently 20. That's got to go back to like 16, maybe 8, as low as 8 on that with some patterns. But quickly became a crowded trade. They ran out of money, and it showed you that was kind of just artificial pump and not even dump because there was no follow through there.
Yeah, what a grift, man. Like it was about a year ago. I went to Vegas and got into like there was this before the conference. It was the day before the conference started. There was like a Bitcoin treasury company like exclusive with Michael Saylor there as like the keynote speaker, and I was in there and just looking around, and I'm like, and then you have like people like a crypto Twitter bro named Dylan LeClaire who's like on the board of MetaPlanet, which is like a
Oh,
failed ass company that they reversed IPO'd in order to not go through, or they reverse merged, so they didn't have to go through the IPO process. And like he's going up to speak, and I'm just looking around, and it's just I'm kind of like, man, are we in the Big Short right now? Like when they're at the real estate conference in that movie before the bubble pops,
yeah.
and we were literally, that was the top. Literally everything was topping at that conference. I'm just like, and it felt like that. It was like, this is weird, man. Everyone's starting digital asset treasury companies. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high, barely. All these garbage digital asset treasury companies are hitting like their records, or they're off their highs maybe at that point. I think they already blow off tops. They were like dead cat bouncing at the time. And it felt weird, and here we are, and they're all in the gutter, down 99%.
Yeah. Yeah, MetaPlanet. I mean, MetaPlanet, I've got a pattern, but it's doing another 886 all-time reset.
Yeah, of
I mean, I'm not
course.
I'm not interested.
The weekly. It's unbelievable. Like this is a slightly lower low double bottom. There's like kind of bullish divergence on the RSI. There definitely is on the RSI on the weekly. It's at like inflection zones. They're defending it. Look at this weekly candle. It's crazy. I mean, it actually looks good technically, but we know it's just unbelievable where it's at. Like someone can long this and they'll probably get paid. They'll probably get paid. Like for real. Like, dude, just like look, man. I mean, I know you see it, but just right here. I mean, unbelievable. That looks like seller, and the daily and the weekly both have bullish divergence. So you have like a confluence of time scales. telling like the narrative's the same thing. If they break this 210, I mean, like, look at the liquidities. And there's like nothing there till like 396. It's actually crazy,
Yeah.
and I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Because it's lingering in the back of, of my mind, all the social media brainwashing of crypto that I've endured over the last 5 years, and still lingers. But I think I crossed the Rubicon last fall after a real long conversation, a couple hours, with this guy that worked at Swift, and Swift is the main argument that a lot of the crypto bros would throw out there, and they're like, no, we're working, and he's working. He's like leading the project. It was, I didn't even know, a family friend. I didn't even know he worked there, and then once I found out what his position was, and he knew the CEO, and I just started rifling off questions, and I was just like, wow, came away from it. I was like, okay, thank you God for giving me this information. And then I knew that the cycle was programmed to complete. I also knew that harmonically the big deal on with Bitcoin last year, if it was going to be like the prior two cycles, Bitcoin was supposed to go minimum 2618, if not 3618, like extreme harmonic expansion, and we could never get out above the 1618 1902 range, which is the top end for anything. Like if you want to see something, if you want to see something really break out, it's usually going to take out that 1618 1902 and then change character. Gold did it, silver did it. A lot of those AI and big data mining centers did that, but it didn't. And we broke 107, and that was like second week of October. That's when I said, well, this thing failed. It should not be breaking a structural continuation low. And that's when I said, all right, 93 and then 76. And I'm still going to stick. I think we're still looking at, I'm going to stay with 786 retrace on the monthly chart. I need to get some oversold signals because I have them, at every time. Harmonic Strength Index, every cycle, HSI bottomed at that 786, usually right after. Then took even a couple more months to go, but we have a monthly oversold HSI right now in Bitcoin that it's not out of the zone. And just because you pop out of the zone doesn't mean it's ready to go. It's like a first step. So we'll see how that plays out. It's there's some commonalities there. I still think no matter what the number is, we probably have 4 to 6 more months of just sheer development before you can make any assessment, and it would take even more progress, namely, getting the indicator moving in the right direction, moving through some important like 50 levels. It's very similar to how we would look at RSI getting above the 50 level, or as you say, the control level above 60 before price corresponds and follows through. So that's, Bitcoin needs time. And I think even if you go sideways, that's probably your best hope between, say, I don't know, it's basically where we are here, maybe 80. Like, what do you think? What could be this relief rally top? Could it
Uh,
be 80?
well, I think it's if you're talking about a relief rally and you're looking at the monthly, like, let me I'm sending you my monthly right now. So first off, I think what Bitcoin did when it broke out in November 2024 was unbelievable because you had a textbook cup with handle pattern, and it went and hit a 100% measured move of that, and that is literally, and that was a 1.618, I believe, from the that high to low. No, it exceeded the 1.618, maybe in log scale, but that was perfect. 121, can't believe it, and that's what reversed. And look, it went 5 months red candles, and
Mm-hmm.
so one thing that could put, hopefully, like I'm hoping it would put a cog in your or a wrench in your cog of thinking of a 786 retrace would be, instead of like it doing a 786 every time, how about think about what it's done. The last time Bitcoin went into a correction in 2021 to 2022, they took it all the way down to the previous cycle top, and that's where it bottomed. I mean, like it spent a little time below it, but that's where it reversed. Well, guess what? The other cycle top from 2021, we've made it there, and that's where we've defended the level. And we just put it. Look at that monthly potential like morning star reversal, and this month would confirm it. And if we like are gonna really on 16 days to go, but if we can get a candle close above 73.8 on that monthly, I mean that there's no liquidity there. It'd be 100K on the monthly, 96 to 100K on the monthly. I would say 90K on the weekly, 85K on the daily. But that you're like and another thing is like instead of anchoring from the lowest low of 2022, why not anchor? How I anchored all this was the August 2024 low to the all-time high, and that is a literal 88% retrace. We have achieved an 886. So for me, like this is potentially beginning of a relief rally that it just the beginning where I think it could take us if we can break 76K, because right, if we're talking about structures and Bulkowski, the potential double bottom confirmation line is 76,044, the March 17th high. To break that, the 100% measured move of that is pretty much in line with like the 200-day moving average around 87.5. You got 85.5 is the 38%. Oh, I'm sorry, it would be I think 382. 38% retrace. So all like kind of everything to me kind of seems like 85 to 87 to 90 plus K. And you could still remain in an intermediate downtrend. Because if you go to 91K, you're still going to be making a lower high than the January 15th high, which is insane. But it's like you can, take advantage of these relief rallies, make some money. And I would be like exiting, I'd be layering out at 85, 87, 91K, layering out, and then have a very small position after we hit 91K, just in case we go to 100K at that point. So that's like my opinion on it. That's kind of the way I'm maybe looking at it.
Yeah, incredibly, if you go back, 2021 had a 382 relief rally. If you go here, let me blow that up. It was off the what was that? Early 2022. What month was that? That was Jan 22. You went through and you did about an 8-10 week relief rally into the end of March. That was right at a 382, and then it sent it down for the second leg, which eventually hit the 786. So that there's precedent there, and we've seen it before. I mean, you go to the prior cycles. Again, you got to scrunch it, but there were those kind of mid downtrend corrective rallies, relief rallies, and then explosion. God, look at these. That was the one thing. I didn't. I had a harmonic analyzer, which was the first iteration of the harmonic software. It was right around 2016-17 that we had this one, but I'm just like looking at the prior patterns from 2015 was a massive Gartley, and then the one I think both of us saw this. I know you talk about these two back-to-back Gartley bats that at around 38 4K that launched Bitcoin to the stratosphere. For me, that was also something where in 2020 when both of those popped up, I was like, okay, this thing is tremendously harmonic. So it
Took
should,
the world economy shutting down to give us that 886 to complete that M shape.
yeah,
Took like literally pandemonium.
yeah. Those two patterns were just insane. That in my opinion, that launched like the new generation, next generation of Bitcoin. That was off of 4,000, 4,500, and it just this thing is harmonic as anything. And that's why I'm, wouldn't be surprised to see that relief rally go to a 382, yet still follow the cycle, the 786 bear cycle. That just, again, for every one of these, not only to follow the 4-year cycles like it did, but then you lay harmonic ratios on top, 2019, 2023, and then, all right, I'll stick with that assessment unless something dramatically changes. And yeah, I mean, again, I guess make or break would have to be, you take out, if you do something crazy above that 382, which is around 85, 86K, maybe then I would look for something else. But I'm still gonna wait and assume that I'll look hard. We get to 39K, and we get confirmation on the monthly. It might take a couple extra months to turn it around. I would look at it. Whatever's going on in the world. Uh, Technically, we get those massive patterns, then maybe. But until then, I'm going to wait for that 786 and get that. Wait for those signals that have repeated every cycle in Bitcoin. I don't know. The other kind of thought that crosses my mind is that the whole thing that Epstein was tied to really the
Uh-oh.
early years of Bitcoin, and maybe people might not want to, maybe not, maybe just say, hey, we're not going to touch that for you know fundamental reasons, social reasons. Anything tied to him. I don't know if you have an opinion on that or not, but you know,
I think I like saw something about it, but for me, I'm just more like, okay, I mean, if you look at what I just sent you, I mean, on the weekly, to me, it seems like there's some good anchor points. It's a an 886 from the August 2024 low point of that 8 month corrective wave corrective channel, and you're
oh, this
breaching
one.
yeah, you're breaching a major inflection zone. And if it can hold, which we don't know, man, like, oh, of course, end of week, it's collapsed and we're back below 71.6 and screw Bitcoin. Yeah, absolutely. If the new data comes in, yes, I will be the first one to say F Bitcoin all day. But if what we're witnessing is real, like the breaching of 73.8 with confirmation, you just look at the liquidity zones and there's just zero things here till 90K on the weekly, nothing. So, and that's as far as I'll go with it. Like for me to be making like forecasts of like 39K, like I get that. Like that could be coming to that. Couldn't that also work after Bitcoin goes to 85 to 90K, rolls over, and then like by August, September, October, we're at 39K, we're running to 39K. I'm just talking about right now after this insane sell-off from October to February, we could go on quite possibly an incredible little retrace where we could make some money and then get out, and then it collapses to make lower lows and your thesis continues to play out.
Yeah, what's
That's
the
where I'm at with it.
is that red line 200 week
Yeah,
moving
it's the 200
average?
week moving average. Another reason why it's like, okay, see, it got back in line with that. It's just blue skies above 73.8. Blue skies.
Yeah.
And make some money and then have a plan to get out before it makes a lower high than the high we had in January, and it rolls back over, and we start heading towards those targets you're talking about. That's kind of where I'm at. So it's like in the short term, Bitcoin could be extremely promising for yield.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's such a huge breakout attempt we got going on right now.
Yeah.
Like 73.8 is everything to me.
I like to look at the ETFs too for structure.
The
Things
IBIT,
lining up. IBID or GBTC. GBTC was a monthly Gartley at the low. I mean, it was pretty remarkable. 2023 GBTC bottomed out. I think it was 9, 8, 9. It was $8, but you had a Gartley, perfect Gartley. It actually kissed the 886, and then went. From that, it technically is still a type 1 reaction, even though it went all the way there. And then did we get, yeah, I mean, the 1618 off the pattern. This is where harmonics, like, say what you will, ICT or whatever, ignore it your own, whatever, your own peril. But we went 1618 off of that Gartley, and I will look at this, one of two ways. I'll either get some kind of oversold in that on this downdraft, or we tag the type 2 at some point. I don't. I would think we would probably get an oversold reading because we are oversold technically. It's going to take a few more months for this to work out, but wherever the next oversold signal comes in, That would take at least 3 months of development to pop out, retest, and then and form anything. I will assume that we are in that kind of return phase, or give me another structure off of this top. Like maybe it's a shark, and we retest 2024 low by a little bit down around 40. And then what was the IBIT? I think was there was something there. Yeah, 886 reset with a big shark pattern too, where that came out, and that's like currently 42. Maybe at 27 ish. And again, I don't want to completely be negative because if these set up massive structures and completions, and then something comes in that changes the game, where the government says, "All right, we're going to buy a Bitcoin," uh, whatever. Whatever change is fine. It'll show up in the charts. We'll get the signals. I don't want to be dismissive on that, but still not there yet. Still a ways to go before we, trigger those monthly signals. And that's, for me, most of these long-term signals that have worked out in prior cycles are on the monthly charts.
Well, for IBIT, I'm looking at it right now, and it's almost the same thing. Like if you anchor from the September 2024 low, it's an 886. I know, like it might be arbitrary to do that, but forget that. So what's happening this week on IBIT for the first time in 230 plus days, for the first time since August 18th, 2025, IBIT is showing positive momentum on the histogram. You have a negative momentum every single week since August 25th until literally this week. And at that, while that's happening, buyers just happen to be breaching an overhead resistance from March 2024 on IBIT. And you think about there's a gap at 4760, 4750. So you like kind of think about it where forget like Bitcoin going to all-time highs. I'm just talking about Bitcoin going to fill that gap at 4750, which is about 13% upside. That would be a right around where spot Bitcoin price is at the 38.2% retrace. So you put the two together. It's like doing the math on it. It's like for yeah, I fully agree. At some point, maybe after the gap fills, after a 38% retrace, after a test of the 200 simple moving average, after a common retrace, we'll get to 32, 30 on IBIT. We'll get to your major 886. But first, we go do those things. 5 months of selling pressure. Now we got a monthly Japanese candlestick reversal morning star with a fall through candle this month, possibly 16 days to confirm it. But that's just my thinking. Um, let's make some money on a retrace and then layer out, exit, and then your outcome plays in after that, and we go way lower.
Yeah, an interesting chart. I don't know if you've seen this, but Circle came out as an IPO and got crushed, and did massive first day, and then did this another full 886 reset. Circle, USDC.
What a
We did
weekly.
we
Yeah,
do have a
19%.
a Gartley, or sorry, a crab pattern that at $76 hasn't done the type 2 just yet, but I thought this thing would not be. I thought this would collapse entirely, but I see that the USDC is still expanding. There's the assets in USDC hit an
Uh,
all-time high recently. So I'm looking at this too. This was something that, again, don't want to be dismissive on it, but I still need a retest of 76. But we got patterns here. You're starting to get some signals there where, okay, I don't.
what do they do?
That's the USDC. They issue USDC.
Oh, okay. Interesting. A
So,
terrible trend. Yeah, terrible trend.
but
They haven't
some.
made a true higher high like ever. But yeah, like I mean, what sucks is like you got that unfilled gap from February, and when they did break back above 65.11, that old IPO open, like they never back tested that. They just gapped up through it. So it's just like, man, so many. things that I would prefer to happen on it, before I'd feel happy about it, like comfortable with it. It's just, yeah, maybe they hold 90. I don't know. 90 holds up, maybe you're okay, but ugh.
Yeah, I'm not. It has still has a lot of work to do, but I would think I'll take a look at 76. I mean, if these are gonna be things, if these are gonna be, because that's the bigger question. Is crypto really going to be the thing, the tokenization vehicle? Everything's tokenized and all these networks are crypto. I haven't seen that really happen. Mass adoption on Bitcoin. Has it really happened? Is it really happening that, people are paying in Bitcoin or they're
No, no, it's not. It's not happening.
so conceptually, is it a pets.com? Because that happened in the dot com thing where you had hundreds of dot com companies. Most of them went bankrupt. And even the likes of Amazon and others had to go through that massive all time 886 reset before they really became something. And that's kind of what it feels that the last cycle was a washout cycle. The remaining ones, maybe they'll have a future, but the broad kind of plastering of every coin's going to take over a different function of the economy. And I'll bring up Chainlink, which is what people always talk positively about. Chainlink's going to do this, Chainlink's going to do that, and here we are, Chainlink back at uh, prices that we saw back in 2023. That is Chainlink going to be the network that revolutionizes finance and all of that with this kind of a trend? No. I mean, we have a Gartley, we have patterns down here, but the trend is horrible. And it would need to do a whole lot of things before that becomes a thing. And XRP is the other one, and I think I've never seen so much hype on a singular play. And I know people live with their life savings all in XRP, saying this is it. This is where we go. For the future, that XRP is going to take it over. I just, I've seen that story play out poorly in past examples, and these are, again, should have, if they were going to be a thing, I guess is what I'm getting at. They would have done a hell of a lot more than just like a 382 recovery, 382 bounce, which is what Chainlink did, and many others. It goes weekly 382 and then back down, or 50% and back down. That's just pure bear behavior across the board.
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't even know. Like the tokenomics, these guys can dilute their coins. They can print more of them, I'm pretty sure. There's no SEC regulations. Why would they even have to tell you if they did that? Like, that's this market, man. That's crypto. It's a joke market. The only ones I really care about, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else is it doesn't even matter. Like if they provide value to the world, there's no mathematical way to gauge their value. I've said this for 8 years of live streaming. Like you can't gauge the value, then it doesn't matter. Like, oh wow, XRP or Ripple Labs makes good profit. Well, they don't have to share that with you. They're certainly not paying back XRP holders in any way or capacity. They'd have to IPO in order for that to be a thing. And maybe one day if they do that, we'll talk. But until then, like it's just a utility token that the banks use themselves to transact from bank to bank. And record speed, great technology, cool. But again, like you're saying, Swift, they got their own. Like their competitors are not going to let them just take over. So again, it's cool. You want to speculate, fine. But the problem is, they killed speculating in crypto. The 1010, October 10th, you know, 20 billion plus dollar liquidation event ruined crypto. Trust is gone. It was like margin call. I mean, it was like '08. Like they killed the market. It's over. Like no one's going to trade crypto. No one trusts you anymore. No matter how many PR little tweets you put out, CZ, no one trusts you or any crypto that's on your exchange now. And so I don't know why anyone would. It's stupid. It's always been stupid. They're beanie babies. Like cool, use the technology, but you're not going to make money on it. You're holding it long term. You're not. Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably the only two ones XRP, okay, but dude, XRP was half a cent. Well, okay, yeah, like how many years ago? 8 years ago, 10 years ago. We're talking about now, man. Like these things aren't making money for anyone, and they haven't for at any point past 2021. Nothing's making money for anyone in crypto outside of Bitcoin.
Yeah, we had that dinner a year ago. That killer restaurant. I forget what that was with my brother, and
Was that
you.
Smith and Lewinsky?
No, it was the other one. It was right on the bay in Miami, on not on the beach, but I forget what it was. That
Oh yeah, Claw,
Claw. Yeah, it was
my favorite.
totally
Yeah,
sick. And then I was holding a massive XRP position, and you're like, yeah, but at the end of the day, these are still all Beanie Babies. And I was just like sitting there, like I gulped. I was like, all right, get me another drink. And then I went home. I was like, yeah, he's right. It's this. I'm putting way too much credence into this, and reduced. That was when I really started reducing, and I was like, yeah, these are still Beanie Babies. They're not. This is still concept stock behavior. And I just, I remember just coming away from that like, yeah, okay, I don't. XRP is not. I was really thinking XRP was going to break above the 350 4 buck level and go to like, I had it going to like 9 or almost 10 on the cycle. I also had Bitcoin going to at least 165, maybe 210 on this cycle. That's what it should have done. But that day in October when that was the flash crash, complete bust out, I was like, okay, is that a bad day to
ADL,
tick? And now
ADL.
and that was it. That was like for me, whatever else I had that I could get out next day, I was dumping. And then I just said, all right, well, you know what? Then cycle wise, yeah, those cycle dates are adding up. The retracements, this is not happening. Technically the 107 fail for me. I was like, no, that if you're in an extreme move, you don't break prior structural lows and then go. It's just not how it works. I'm like, all right, that's it.
Yeah,
And
those are signs of weakness.
yeah, 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 yeah.
They even
Uh,
confirmed distribution at the top on Bitcoin with like a head and shoulders. It was there were actually signs
mm-hmm.
that this thing was cooked.
Yeah,
So I'm proud that I had zero allocation to crypto at all when that happened. So I was just like, oh my God, this is historic and insane. But I didn't lose a dime. F crypto, man. Like F crypto. Like I've made so much money uh in the past 6 months. So much. Like over 2 million, like for real. And I've had zero allocation to crypto the entire time.
that's
So
amazing.
like being a crypto bro is stupid. Like you're like it's like an IQ test. Crypto should only be held if you have a technical reason for it. And I'm talking it needs to be like a godlike technical reason. And then at that point, you still got to understand that you could get rug pulled, get wrecked. And that's why it's like maybe you shouldn't even have a serious amount of money in it at all. Like, because it's so scammy, man. Like, these exchanges just, oh my God, the square ups and 24/7 trading. I get it, but it's just like these exchanges, man, they are like built to ruin people's lives. It's just
Yeah,
not like that on traditional finance, not to this degree. I'm sorry. It's like this, like crypto is like PvP, and the exchanges have like the best god tier loot and weapons and gear on them, and you got like garbage grays and whites from the vendor. I mean, that's what you're competing against in crypto, I think. So there's not, but the thing is, there's just not even enough liquidity, like to long these assets, man. Like it's like if you're trying to just long any random crypto on any random day, you're probably the only person in the world that's a human that's trading that scam coin. You're competing only against bots and algos. You're not competing against humans at all. And guess what? Most likely those bots owned by the exchanges to front run your limit orders
yeah,
and then to trade against you once if you've gotten filled. They will push the price down to try to get you to panic sell. It's unreal. Fraud.
yeah.
Legal fraud though. Legal fraud.
Totally legal. I mean, and the Trump coin thing, Melania coin thing, doesn't matter that they, went down 99%. Those guys still got out hundreds of millions of dollars in fees, and they got out of their initial allocation. And doesn't matter on the rest. They still walked away. They say they lost billions of dollars. No, they didn't. They got out with, hundreds of millions in fees, and
Oh
they were
yeah, the
able to do
fees, man.
their
That's how they make it. Yep, that's how they
wash
make the
it.
money.
But I was saying this August low. That's once that was violated, that was it. Technically, because we were supposed to be in an extreme advance from there, and so I felt very lucky. I was actually very surprised that even after that violation, it still managed to hang up there for about 4 more weeks. Uh,
Yeah,
and I was out. I like the next.
probably big funds propped it up to exit. They
Yeah,
were like, okay, let's create some buy walls here so it doesn't crash, so we can quietly, subtly offload.
yeah, definitely. Well, man, I got to go pick up Lucas and get out of here, but I appreciate the time. When I'm
Yeah,
better,
man.
we'll definitely get together, and
Yeah,
hope
sounds
all's
good.
well
Rest
with
up.
you for sure.
Yeah, rest up, man. Say hello to the wife and Lucas, Priscilla, and yeah, man, just survive these markets, you know. I think something I mean, it's like this is insane. Like the historic little V shape we got on the S&P and P and the index funds, but I think on Bitcoin, like maybe if we can just hold 73.8, which who knows, man. Like that's the thing. I don't trust crypto so much that I could easily see Bitcoin hitting 76K, topping out and it being over. Like that's how garbage this market is. That's how little I trust crypto. But if 73.8 holds, 73.1 holds, we might be overdue for again a common retrace to 85K at 38% retrace from the old all-time high, and that's it.
Yeah, we'll see on NQ. I thought we might make a run at 26K today. We're 960 at the high, but we'll see. I think you know, uh, things will play out the rest of the week. And I'm big on semis, man. I think, generationally, semis are the
They're
place to
beautiful.
continue to stay with it. And we'll see if we are on the verge of a big summer rally or we need a little more time. But yeah, I'll wait on crypto till the fall.
Yeah, that sucks, man. It's insane,
Yeah.
like godlike, all-time highs every day, 5 days in a row now.
That
God,
yeah, that's I started out on the Philly floor with Sox option trading. That was my first gig as an intern, running the price data for market makers on Sox companies and the Sox futures themselves or Sox options. So, I followed that. And when I was down there on the Philadelphia floors, the Sox index was like 250, 300. It broke
good God.
9,000 today. That was
Insane,
back
man.
in '87. Crazy.
Well, that was back when they were just video games and no one cared about, big money didn't really care about the semiconductors till like the teens, maybe like 2013, 14 is when Nvidia started its rise from 18, $23. And
Yeah.
Philadelphia Stock Exchange, that's where Paula T. Webb met Mark Douglas. That's the romance.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I'll never
right.
forget that when she said that when we talked with her. I wonder how she's doing.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her. It's been a while. I should reach out and say hi, maybe see what she's up to. It's been a long time. I've fallen out of I'm friends with or was friends acquaintances Linda Ratchke and a few other. I mean, just really got lucky with just meeting like guys like Sherman McClellan, a McClellan oscillator, and those was all back in the late '90s. But I've been out of touch of that TA organizational scene. But they've all been a great influence, and I just it is amazing.
A
I
lot
don't.
going on, man. You got a family, you got a kid, you got a kid, and you just got things going on, man. We all do, so
Yeah.
it happens. But I
All right,
mean,
brother.
Bitcoin just keeps selling off lows of day.
Is it?
It's garbage. It's a garbage tech stock. It's like I don't even know if it's a tech stock now. It's like some sort of dead asset that's just kind of rallying a little bit, but yeah, can't even hold on to
Sox all-time highs
anything.
right here,
Yeah,
right this second. Sox's all-time highs right here,
there you go,
92.50.
man. As Bitcoin sells into it.
Amazing. Mitch,
Wild. Remember when? Yep. Yep. I'll let you go,
no
man.
worries. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for the time, everyone. Big shout out to Mitch Ray, TA. Please check him out, Twitter, YouTube, every evening around 6 o'clock. Hit a subscribe, like for him. Best TA show in on the web. Period. So
Thanks, man.
you got
Appreciate
it.
you.
All right,
All
buddy.
right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Thanks.
Later, brother.
Peace. All right, everyone. That was Mitch Ray. I really, what a guy. I mean, Mitch is one of the guys that you want to follow. Mitch is one of the guys, absolutely, I consider a real dear friend. And, there's a lot of garbage out there. Mitch provides quality alpha every day. I don't know how he does it, but he does, almost 7 days a week or practically. And very successful multi-million-dollar trader for sure himself. Mitch, walks the talk, and he'll give you free ideas. He's got a subscription too for his Discord group. Check it all out. But he's completely customer sourced and supported stream. So go over to YouTube, check him out tonight. And again, great thanks to him and everyone else. Thank you for this fantastic kind of major update. It's been a long time since he and I did one. I will not wait, 6 or 8 more months to do it again. We'll get him back on. So appreciate all of you folks and everyone else. You guys know what to do, right? You get over to harmonictrader.com and everything Harmonic starts there with me and get your free trial. Harmonic Pattern Collection. That's the software we've been using all day. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And all of my free foundational material, things that he referenced, available as a basic member at harmonictrader.com. We'll be back on Thursday, people. Same time. Hit the like, subscribe button. I would appreciate that on the way out. And we will dive deep. Maybe get into a little trading. It's been 1 or 2 sessions since we've done any futures. But I got to go get my son. And got some family responsibility to take care of. So I will be back on Thursday, 12:30-ish Eastern. Until then, everyone, you can hit me over on the Discord. You got questions. You want to get in with the program. But until then, as always, go get them. We will see you next time. Peace.